We begin here in Washington, where President Donald Trump announced that he intends to travel to Saudi Arabia next month. The commander-in-chief said his team is still setting up a meeting with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and that official dates would be announced once the meeting is confirmed. When asked if this was part of his plan to hold talks with Vladimir Putin, President Trump said the visit will be about striking a $1 trillion business deal with the Saudi kingdom and not about Russia.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm going to Saudi Arabia.
Mr. President,
I've made a deal with Saudi Arabia where, because normally you'd go to UK first, and last time I went to Saudi Arabia, they put up $450 billion. You know that, right? You were there. We had American companies that took in $450 billion. I said, well, this time they've gotten richer. We've all gotten older. So I said, I'll go if you pay $1 trillion, $1 trillion to American companies, meaning the purchase over a 4-year period of $1 trillion. And they've agreed to do that. So I'm going to be going there, and I have a great relationship with them, and they've been very nice. But they're going to be spending a lot of money to American companies for buying military equipment and a lot of other things.
Now, White House officials have been in talks with the Kremlin to host a possible meeting between President Trump and Vladimir Putin in Saudi Arabia. In fact, last month, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met his Russian counterpart in Saudi Arabia's capital, Riyadh. The oil-rich kingdom has become the go-to destination for both Washington and Moscow to hold discussions about ending the war in Ukraine. But now the Trump administration wants to go a step further and hold talks with Ukrainian counterparts in Saudi Arabia as well. A stark contrast with how Ukrainian allies were in fact welcomed in Washington during President Joe Biden's term. In the latest development, President Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff has been dispatched to Saudi Arabia to arrange the meetings.
Well, President Zelensky sent a letter to the president. I think the president thought that it was a really good, positive first step. And from that, we're now in discussions to coordinate a meeting with the Ukrainians in Riyadh or even potentially Jeddah. So the city's moving around a little bit, but it will be Saudi Arabia. And I think the idea is to get down a framework for a peace agreement and an initial ceasefire as well.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced that he too will travel to Riyadh this weekend and will meet the Saudi Crown Prince on Monday. President Zelensky is also expected to meet Steve Witkoff to finalize a peace agreement framework and an initial ceasefire between President Trump's visit to the Gulf Kingdom. Now it's also unclear whether Saudi Arabia will in fact commit to investing $1 trillion as advertised by President Trump. However, the commander-in-chief does have good relations with the Saudi Crown Prince, who is looking to rebuild ties with the United States.
Merci beaucoup. Hi. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat ke logon ko meri namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically in a month we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.